Alright guys, today I'm going to show you how I like to do a textured fade. Now this is a basic textured fade. My brother-in-law Aaron here does a lot of jiu-jitsu. He lifts weights 3-4 times a week, and he also has a full-time job and 3 girls at home, so he needs a very efficient haircut that can grow out very nicely. So we like to do a nice textured top with a skin fade on the side. Here are the tools I'll be using today. You'll notice I have my Hanzos, my Wall Vapors, and my Sabers. The next thing I like to do is start this haircut off with a nice wet surface. I like to saturate the entire top of the hair from the crown all the way up. And with this particular haircut, all I'm doing is resting my knuckles on the base of the skull and literally texturizing all the way across. Here, the only shape I'm worried about is the shape of his head. I'm not trying to create a triangle. I'm not trying to create a square. I am literally texturizing every hair on his head finger length. It's very simple and you can't go wrong here. The next thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of paste to the hair. So I'll mix it in while it's wet and damp. Then I'll grab my blow dryer and I'll blow dry it to a desired style and get the hair moving a little bit. That way I kind of know what it looks like if it goes left, if it goes right, if it goes forward, if it goes back. That way I know, A, it's mostly even, and also it's got that edgy and piecey look that he's going to want. Next comes the fade. First thing I like to do is grab my 1.5 guard all the way open using my Wall Vapors. I'm going to go straight up the side of his head. Imagine a straight line going from the widest part of his head, usually around the ear, straight up in the air. Flicking my wrist gently, creating a nice boundary into the crown, and then grabbing my Sabers, which will be my balding tool, and creating the bottom part of the fade. So now I have room to play. I know where my extreme zero is, and I know where my crown is, and this is exactly where I'll focus most of my energy during the fading process. From here, I like to start with an open blade, no guard, create my first guideline about a dime size to a nickel size, depending on the head shape and all that. Then from here, I'm going to grab my 0.5 and do the same exact thing. Here, I'm not really trying to be perfect. I'm just going with the flow, flicking my wrist, and you'll notice that the blend already starts to happen. If you've got a nice natural flick, which you'll get with time and practice, you'll start blending it in pretty naturally without as much effort. Next thing I'll do is opt for my comb that has a wider bridge, which will be roughly about a number 2 distance. And since we already know we used a 1.5 open, we're just connecting what we did earlier with the 1.5 into the crown, into that ridge. That way we have a seamless blend into the top of the haircut, which is going to help us visualize the last couple steps, which are going to be mostly detailing. Then from here, I'm going to grab my number 1 and I'm going to start cornering just the dark spots I see inside of that fade. Just underneath the ridge, just underneath that 1.5 we did earlier. And I'm going to do the same thing through this entire haircut. Start with my 1, close it slowly as I work my way back down to the fade, then grab my 0.5, slowly close it as I go down, playing with the lever and using my eyes to pick away at the darkest spots of the hair. And I'm going to follow this technique all the way down to where we first started, which would be with no guard. This is the easiest way I can teach anyone how to fade, is open, open, and then work your way back down, close, close. Also, an important note here is, as the fade gets smoother and smoother and you start working on more and more detail, you will start using less and less of the entire blade of your clipper and only a couple of the teeth at a time. Remember, you want to be exact in this particular part of the haircut. Lastly, we're going to use the double foil shaver to get them all the way down, baby butt smooth. And if the double foil doesn't do it, it doesn't bridge the gap into that quadruple zero, a single foil is also a cool little cheat code that I like to use to just ease that transition, and we're talking about very minute details here. Once you're done with this, you can add a razor if you'd like to or not, depending, and then there you have it, guys. That is the complete look. Easy haircut. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hit the like button, share, subscribe.